When he was first born, he didn't display any symptoms of anything. But I think 12 hours later, the health visitor came, was it? Mm. And while the health visitor came, Nicky pointed out that there'd been markings that were getting more prominent on his body, down his right-hand side, aren't they?
Yeah. And he was diagnosed with CMTC.
Mm. So it was quite heavy, looked like heavy bruising on his arm, and quite heavy bruising on his leg.
And his torso,
foot. Yeah, it began to, I mean, obviously we're concerned, we didn't know what it was. Nicky did a lot of research on the internet, didn't you, to see if you could find out what it was. I think you maybe had an inkling before we even went to the children's. We got referred to the children's hospital.
No, I didn't have. But we had a really, really good house doctor when we went into the children's ward, and he said, "I think this is a vascular malformation," and I think if we hadn't seen him, our journey would have been a lot more complicated. But he noticed it straight away.
He'd seen it before.
No, he hadn't seen it before, but he had heard about it when he was being taught.
Right, I see. You know, when we went to the swimming pool when he was young, and I'm sure it's still the same, but we haven't looked recently, that, you know, one leg is slightly shorter than the other. And we could see, if you're looking at eye level of his knees, you can see that they're not the same level. But we knew about that anyway, because we'd come here and we'd seen someone that had checked him out and seen that was the case. So we were just, well, the question was, how is he now? You wouldn't know, apart from the fact that if he gets cold, he gets hot, he gets angry, they come up really good style, the veins and
you see them.
Again, where
you
he's
can
had
see
it
it
before.
then.
So you can tell when he's annoyed with you.
Before he's poorly, before he's ill. Sorry. The day before, you can see his leg, because he likes to wear shorts because he doesn't like to be too hot, and his whole leg will look like spider web marking, and you'd be like, oh right, okay. And then the next day he will be sick, or before he had COVID, and before any symptoms or testing positive, again it's his leg you see it on mostly. He's been great, to be fair. He's very sporty.
Yeah, physically he's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, of the 6 children we've got, he just seems to be able to lend his hand to any sport. A bit like my dad, I think. Annoyingly good at things. Yes,
effortless, without any practice. Yeah. He's just good at sports. The fastest in his class at running. The bigger boys pick him for the team for football. I think they just kind of...
But they know about the markings.
Yeah, and they'll say to him, your leg looks funny, and he'll say, it's CMTC, it's a vascular malformation, my blood vessels. When I'm too hot or too cold, you can see them. He's never had. So he's not teased about it because he's just so...
Yeah, he's quite relaxed.
And the thing is as well, I mean, it isn't affecting him in any way, and I know it's horrible to say, but children tend to pick on weaker people, don't they? And he's so good at everything he lends his hand to at sport and stuff like that. He's quite popular, rather than, so he's coming at from... He's fortunate because he's coming at it from quite a positive position. The people that are asking him, he quite possibly would say, if they tried to tease him, he'd just turn around and say, well, why can't you score a goal when you're playing football? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's quick. He's quick.
He's quite confident.
Yeah. And he's the 6th child, so and 4 of our children are adults now, so he's very, very good at quick comebacks, but he will do it in a really subtle, like his sister will tease him, and he'll take it and take it and take it, and then he'll just sort of do something really subtle, like she hates flies, and just sort of like start throwing little black bits.
See, this is the thing, it's like, this is now, and because there's still a lot to be found out about the condition, you're still worried as a parent as to whether that's always going to be the case. And they really didn't seem to take it seriously in our own healthcare. The gentleman that Nicky was talking about that diagnosed it in the first place, very good, but he'd retired 6 months later, and then they just seemed to lose interest completely after that. So he's never had any internal examination. He's never had any, to see whether his organs are all right or anything like that. It's always been, the only stuff he's had is the external examinations that he's had here in the past. So I was listening today at one of the lectures, and she was talking about a place in Rotterdam that does the ultrasound and X-rays for the likes to have a look. So I might get in touch and see whether there's any possibility of doing it privately, perhaps. To just to
It's just to see, isn't it? Because
that everything's okay. You know what I mean? Because we don't know that everything is okay inside.
Oh, absolutely not. I went to the GP and I said, I'm concerned because he has these markings on his torso. They're over his abdomen and his torso. And this could mean that his organs are impacted. And he said, well, what other evidence do you have for this? And I said, well, he's
Nothing
not
at the
ill,
moment, no.
but surely it's better if, like his kidneys are impacted, that we get a shunt before before his kidneys start to struggle. But he said, no, I'm not referring for, and then we have our health systems is struggling a lot at the moment. It was struggling before COVID.
But it's pretty terrible now.
It's not, and they will only see you for emergency care. You can't get an appointment with the GP unless it's for emergency care, and you have to be triaged, so they will check. The receptionist phones you and says, basically, are you dying?
or send us photos, basically. If you send them photos as evidence and the doctor looks at it, you can get an appointment.
But they wouldn't for his, because it's a chronic condition.
Over time, they've become a lot less pronounced. But sometimes you could forget he suffers from it now until, like I said, when he gets cold, he gets hot. And interestingly enough, I said this the other day as well. I didn't realise, but we were talking about him, and he was in the room because he'd come into when we were doing our learning earlier on in the week, and I'd said about him getting sore sometimes when it got cold or hot, and he said it's not sometimes, Dad, it's always so when I get cold or hot. Well, I didn't realise that. I thought it was just so he just manages it so well.
I think if we were to say to him, if you could wake up tomorrow and not have it, how would you feel? And I think he would say he wouldn't want to lose it. I think it's part of him. It's so much part of his identity. And I think similarly for us, I don't think I would want him to lose it, because it's, we love it as much as we love him. It doesn't hurt him. It doesn't, psychologically, it doesn't affect him. And it's just, like some children have brown eyes, some children have blue eyes. He just has some marks.
Great thing about this place is when we first came, we were looking for some reassurance or trying to find out or anticipate what might happen in later life for Alfie, because he was only a baby, when we first came, and he couldn't speak for himself. And there's a woman coming this time called Erica from South Africa, and she's in exactly the same position as we were when we first took Alfie. So it was nice to see that it's come like full circle, and that we can now say to her, I know your baby can't speak, but this is what's happened with Alfie, and I went back to the birth pictures of what he looked like, and
Yeah,
she was
because it was
comparing her baby,
yes.
and it was almost exactly the same.
Yeah, and when
wasn't
you
it?
see
It
it,
got
you
sort of
think, I
dark.
can't believe they were really, really dark.
Dark, yeah.
They were really
like
dark.
bruises, like really
Yeah,
bad bruises.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And 3 fingertip marks as well, which
Yeah.
looked like someone had grabbed his thigh,
Unfortunately.
which was unfortunate, yeah. But I don't think we would be in the place
Or as
we are
confident
now.
about it.
Yeah, no way we would be as confident about it, or him. I think it's just, he sees other people have it. He thinks it's normal. He thinks it's because we come every year. It's not. It's not. And you feel
Which is what I felt about
connected.
Erica, yeah.
You feel connected to other people who, because you know their journey is lonely. And also, you know, like we both approached it very different ways. I was so worried and anxious and, you know, like researching, and he was more,
It'd be okay.
yeah, oh, you'll be fine. and then when you're the one that's doing it and you're reading these things, like he could be blind, he could have brain damage, he could.
Then this is what you get online, isn't it?
Yeah, if you do Dr. Google, that's what you get, isn't it? You don't get the he's absolutely fine. You get the
worst
the
case scenario type thing.
the
Yeah.
extreme stories, don't you?
Very important.
Yeah, very, very, very important for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're still finding things out about it, aren't they? So,
Yeah.
like I said, it just seems to progress every year. And then there's other people. There's always new faces and new experiences as well.